Imagine 1840. You're standing on the fog-drenched docks of New Bedford, the whaling capital of the world. The air is so thick with the stench of rotting blubber, you could cut it with a knife. Ahead of you looms a 300-ton Brid Your Home and your cage for the next 4 years. You've just signed a contract you barely understood. In exchange for a lay, a tiny fraction of the ship's eventual profit, you've sold your soul to the sea. There's no turning back. The heavy hemp lines are cast off, and as the shore fades, the romantic myth of the voyage dies. You descend into the Faux Kesley, the triangular dungeon in the ship's bow. 30 grown men are crammed into a space smaller than a modern kitchen. It's damp, pitch black, and smells of unwashed bodies, tobacco, and rancid oil. This is where you will eat, sleep, and try to stay sane. Your bunk is a narrow wooden shelf, often soaked by seawater leaking through the seams. There is no privacy, only the constant creaking of oak and the roar of the gale outside. In this wooden box, the hierarchy is absolute, and the captain's word is the only law that matters. Hunger becomes your shadow. Your diet consists of hardtack, flour, and water biscuits baked years ago. So infested with weevils, you have to tap them on the table to shake the bugs out. Dinner is salt horse, beef preserved in brine so harsh it turns the meat into something resembling leather. The routine is a brutal cycle of watches and back-breaking labor. You climb the rigging in freezing spray, your fingers numbed by the ice, clutching tarred ropes for dear life. You've traded your freedom for a chance at fortune, but for now, you're just a ghost in a floating hell. Months of agonizing boredom explode with a single cry from the masthead. There she blows. The lethargy vanishes in a heartbeat. Adrenaline surges as you scramble toward the whaleboats. This isn't just work anymore. It's a primitive hunt, a collision between man and leviathan. You lower the boat, a fragile 26-foot cedar shell. There are 6 of you against a 60-ton sperm whale. Between you and the crushing depths is only an inch of wood. You row in absolute silence, hearts pounding, until a shadow the size of an island rises beneath the waves. The harpooner stands, muscles tensing as he balances in the heaving bow. He hurls the iron deep into the black, leathery skin. The whale recoils, and suddenly, you are tethered to a nightmare. This is the Nantucket sleigh ride, a death-defying race across the boiling surface of the deep. The whale plunges, dragging the boat at terrifying speeds. The harpoon line smokes as it flies through the chocks. If it tangles around your limb, you'll be pulled into the abyss in a split second. You bail water frantically, praying the cedar hull doesn't shatter under the strain. When the beast finally tires, the real danger begins. The boat pulls alongside for the kill. The mate thrusts a long steel lance into the life, the whale's lungs or heart. The ocean turns a thick, visceral crimson, and the whale enters its final, violent flurry. One sweep of that massive flukes can crush your boat into kindling. You witness the red tide, the whale's dying breath spraying a fountain of blood into the air. The Leviathan is dead, but the victory feels hollow as you look at your trembling, blood-stained hands. The war has only just begun. The hunt is over, but the nightmare of labor begins. The carcass is lashed to the hull, and the cutting-in starts. You balance on slippery stages, stripped to the waist, hacking away blankets of blubber with razor-sharp spades. You are soon drenched in grease, oil, and gore. At night, the tryworks are lit massive brick furnaces built right on the wooden deck. You feed the fires with scraps of fried blubber. The smoke is black, oily, and foul-smelling, sticking to your skin like a toxic shroud. In the flickering firelight, the ship looks like a floating forge from hell. Death is a silent stowaway. Statistics are grim. 1 in 4 men won't return. If the storms don't take you, scurvy might. You watch as your friend's gums turn black and old wounds mysteriously reopen. On a 4-year voyage, the body begins to rot from the inside out. Then there are the stories that haunt the mess deck. In 1820, the ship Essex was rammed and sunk by an enraged sperm whale. The survivors drifted for months in open boats. Driven to madness by hunger, they did the unthinkable. They drew lots to decide who would die so the others could eat. Imagine the silence in those boats as the lot was drawn, looking into the eyes of a man you've bled with, knowing his flesh is your only hope for survival. This is the dark heritage of the whaling industry, a business built on human meat and absolute desperation. Whalemen were hailed as heroes, the astronauts of their day, bringing light to a dark world. But the light from those spermicide candles was forged in the most brutal conditions imaginable. You are no longer the person who left New Bedford. You are a survivor, or you are a memory. After 4 years, your ship finally limps back into the harbor. It's a ghost of its former self, sails patched, hull encrusted with salt and barnacles. You scan the crowd for familiar faces, but the world you left behind has moved on without you. You are a stranger in your own home. Now comes the lay, the moment of truth. You expect a small fortune for your years of suffering, but the ship's books are a trap. The cost of your clothes from the slop chest, the food you ate, and even interest on your debt are all deducted from your earnings. Many sailors walk away with mere pennies. Some find themselves still in debt to the company, forced to sign up for another voyage just to survive. The cycle of exploitation continues, fueled by the global hunger for the oil that greases the wheels of the Industrial Revolution. But the wind is changing. In 1859, a man named Edwin Drake strikes oil in Pennsylvania. Suddenly, the blood of whales is no longer needed to light the night. Kerosene replaces spermaceti, and the mighty whaling fleets begin to rot at their moorings, turning into wooden skeletons. The Golden Age dies, leaving behind only the stories of Moby Dick and the cold monuments and whaling museums. We inherited the progress, but the ocean keeps the memories, the screams in the gale and the silent struggles beneath the waves. The dark history of the sea is written in oil and bone. Could you have survived 3 years in that floating cage? Would you have held the line as the Leviathan dragged you toward the horizon? Look at the light in your room today and remember where it once came from. This was the price of progress. Subscribe to see more shadows of the past.